Holy crap, you guys, we are already halfway through the year, which is why it's time for me to break down one of my top 10 favorite movies of the year so far. I know this is a bit late, but life happens. Disclaimer that I'm going to piss some of you off. Some of you are probably going to roll your eyes at me more so than you already have, possibly. So the 10 movies I'm going to list are my top 10 favorite movies of the year. They may not necessarily be the best movies, but that's okay because these movies resonated the most with me. Movies are subjective. Everyone loves different things, and there's no shame in that. That being said, who's ready to be triggered? We're gonna start at number 10 and work my way up to number 1. And in my number 10 spot, we have Air. Now, the reason the Air is in my number 10 spot is because it has gotten astronomically positive reviews. And so I went in with incredibly high expectations, and that is the arrow in the Achilles heel of this movie. My expectations were through the roof, and because of that, I didn't love this movie as much as others did. That being said, this is a very well-made movie and brilliantly acted and very well directed. I would have cleaned up the pacing a little bit more, and sure, this movie didn't check all the boxes like it did for everyone else, and that's okay, but it's still a very well-made film, and I feel like I will enjoy it more and more now that I know what to expect. And who's ready to get pissed off? Because in my number 9 spot, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, yes, this movie would have been higher if it had felt like a complete film. Don't worry, no spoilers, but this movie is part 1 of 2. It very much felt like half a movie. And because of that, I felt a little bit mixed by the end of the movie because we just got to the meat of the story. Things just started picking up, and then boom! To be continued. End credits. Fuck off. Get out of the theater. That's how it felt. And so until I see the next installment, it's hard for me to rank this movie incredibly high because it just felt like half a movie. That being said, it is brilliantly animated. It is setting up so many amazing things, and I can see myself absolutely loving this movie after I see the next part. In my number 8 spot, we have the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, this movie was a delight. I saw it a couple times in theaters, and sure, there is zero groundbreaking work in terms of the script and story, but I didn't go in to a Super Mario Brothers movie expecting it to be Oscar worthy. I grew up playing the Mario games, and that's who this movie is designed for. It felt very fun. It felt very nostalgic. I loved all the characters. I love all the colors. Yes, I enjoyed Peaches, and I really hope it's nominated at the Oscars just so we can see Jack Black on stage rocking out to the piano to that song. I mean, come on, that's cinema. In my number 7 spot, we have Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Now, this movie was adorable and very, very pleasant. It felt like a Sunday afternoon. I feel like this movie was very underviewed or underappreciated, even though critics loved it, and for good reason. It's a very well-made movie. It's a darling coming-of-age story. It's not gonna break the glass ceiling. It's not gonna change your life necessarily, but when it's available on streaming, I say turn it on for a very pleasant viewing experience for a polite amount of time. In my number 6 spot, we have Elemental, Pixar's latest feat. Now, this movie would be up higher and ranked among some of the stronger Pixar movies if they had polished up the first act for me. I thought that they took some easy ways out to set the plot up. But besides that, this is a beautiful rom-com and also a beautiful story about an immigrant family. Pixar really fumbled the marketing campaign for this, and I feel like this movie did not get enough buzz as it should have gotten because this is a strong Pixar movie. It's not the best Pixar movie, but I'd say of all of the middle tier movies, it's among the best, which is also leagues beyond so many other animated movies that we get. In number 5, we have Scream 6. Now, I am a late convert to the Scream franchise, but boy did I enjoy this movie. At this point, Scream knows its audience, it knows what it's supposed to be, and people go in expecting it to be campy. There are so many fatal stab wounds in this movie that people just brush off like it's a paper cut. Seriously, there's a character that's stabbed like over 20 times that should have been dead and just isn't. What super soldier serum are these main characters taking? So it's fucking ridiculous, but that's what we expect from Scream nowadays. We want some fun scares, we want some brutal killings. We also want characters that we like and care about, and I do think that this new wave of characters within the Scream universe are amazing, and they do help carry this movie, and I'm excited for the next one. Let's bring on Scream 7. Let's see how many stab wounds these people can survive. And in my number 4 spot, haters gonna hate, but we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, I am a die-hard Indiana Jones fan. We do not talk about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Bullshit. By Felicia. Suffice it to say, Dial of Destiny is so much better than Crystal Skull, and I do firmly believe that this is a worthy entry in the Indiana Jones series. It's not as good as the original trilogy, but it's still a solid adventure. There is so much nostalgia. Harrison Ford does an amazing job, and I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge, even if her character might rub you the wrong way at points. This movie is incredibly polarizing. Shocker, Twitter's being harsh. And I feel like if you go in expecting this movie to be as good as the original trilogy, you are just setting yourself up for failure. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, we get a fun Indiana Jones movie that does give this character a beautiful send-off that did make me emotional by the end. And at number 3, we have Susume, from the very, very acclaimed director of Your Name and Weathering with You. This is giving me my fix of Studio Ghibli, since Studio Ghibli really, isn't anymore, at least how it was. This movie was beautiful, it was emotional, it was also, I argue, Makoto Shinkai's most epic movie that he's made in terms of fantastical elements. Sure, it's not quite as strong as Your Name or Weathering with You, but considering that those are like A to A+ movies and this one is an A-, still makes this a resounding success, in my opinion. But if you haven't seen the likes of these movies, such as Your Name, Weathering with You, and now Susume, I highly recommend you check them out, especially if you do appreciate films such as the Studio Ghibli films by Hayao Miyazaki. I'm not saying that these movies are just like that, but I feel like this is the closest I have felt to filling that hole and filling my heart with a similar type of magic like Studio Ghibli has. And in my number 2 spot, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and oh my god, what an amazing way to end a trilogy. James Gunn did an impeccable job in delivering the emotion with this one. Yes, this movie is still incredibly fun, it's incredibly funny, but oh my god! PSA, for those of you who are hypersensitive to witnessing animal cruelty in a movie, you've been warned. However, it's not gratuitous. It serves the story. And I think this is a beautiful film. It is a gut punch. It left me feeling so incredibly happy and sad, but nostalgic, bittersweet. It's like a final hurrah with your best friends in a way. And I argue that Guardians is still among some of the strongest movies ever within the MCU. I fucking said it. It might be the best Guardians. It's currently battling Guardians 1 for me, but my god, this is a strong movie, and it made me cry. And in my number 1 spot, I am very happy and proud to say that that is The Little Mermaid. Halle Bailey, oh my god, girl, damn did she own this role, and damn did she really impress me with her depiction of Ariel. And I'm gonna go as far as to say that I do prefer Halle Bailey's Ariel versus the 1989 original. Now, I love Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid, the classic 1989 movie, is my second favorite Disney animated movie of all time. Now, this movie as a whole does not surpass that movie necessarily, but I do think it is one of the best, probably the second best live action remake we have gotten at this point. I know that the live action remakes are a mixed bag, and unfortunately this movie is feeling the effects of that because we have movies like the live action Lion King and live action Aladdin, I said it, that are billion-dollar movies that baffles my mind. Little Mermaid deserves to be a billion-dollar movie. This movie was actually made with heart and made with intent at preserving what we love about The Little Mermaid while also expanding on this story and filling some plot holes here or there that are completely necessary. From Ariel and Eric and their romance, Halle Bailey's Ariel, as I've already praised, to Melissa McCarthy's Ursula. Those are 3 of the biggest parts of the movie that are done exceptionally well. Sure, this isn't a perfect adaptation and there are things that I would tweak here or there, but those are more some nitpicks from me because in general this movie felt magical to me. I felt like it elevated itself and it elevated the source material in ways that I didn't anticipate and I was so excited by. I would put it next to Cinderella as being 2 of the best live action remakes that elevate the source material in ways that I didn't quite expect, while also honoring what we love that came before it. And those are my 10 favorite movies of the year so far. I'll be curious how the year develops. I'll be curious to hear your favorite films of the year so far, and we'll see what films make it to the very end of 2023. Heartbreak certainly does feel good in a place like this, so thank you all for watching, and feel free to share some of your favorite movies of 2023 down below. Let's not just be entertained, but somehow reborn together. All right, I'm gonna stop. Can you tell I'm gay?